Every day, United Way of Greater Nashville brings our community together so every child, individual, and family in Middle Tennessee can thrive. Right now, 1.2 million Tennessee households are working hard but still struggling to make ends meet. Nearly half of Davidson County families and a third in Williamson County live below the ALICE threshold. That's asset limited, income constrained, and employed. But did you know that last year alone, United Way partners helped meet nearly 500,000 basic needs across Middle Tennessee? That means thousands of Davidson County students started school with supplies this fall. And kids in Williamson County get free books each month, all thanks to the United Way and its supporters. Your workplace can be a part of supporting the United Way's vital work today, because when employees give together, morale grows, businesses thrive, and Greater Nashville becomes stronger. Learn how your workplace can help at unitedwaygreaternashville.org/workplace-campaigns. Together, we're lifting up Middle Tennessee, meeting needs today and building stronger communities for tomorrow. You're getting married, not managing an event team. At Simply Eloped, your dedicated planner takes care of every single detail so you don't have to. They have helped over 14,000 couples say I do across 37 epic U.S. locations, with all-inclusive packages and top-tier vendors. From snowy mountaintops to sandy beaches at sunset, every wedding is customized, no two are alike. Start your big day at simplyeloped.com. Today on CityCast Nashville, we're talking about the power of karaoke. In a recent essay, our guest, writer, and librarian, Lisa Bubert, argues that karaoke isn't just entertainment, it can actually help save democracy. So today, we're diving into why karaoke hits so deep, how these local bars have become hubs of connection, and what it feels like to walk into a place that instantly feels like home. And hey, stick around after the interview, because Courtney Barler, the Chief Development Officer of United Way, will be joining us for a conversation about the United Way of Greater Nashville's vital work in our community. It's Wednesday, November 19th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. What is the best karaoke bar in Nashville?
As you may have guessed from my article, it depends. It depends on if you want to go somewhere where you want to meet a bunch of different people and you just want to have a wild time, or do you want to go somewhere, where you're with like your people and it's just like a big love fest or whatever. So I have two places that are my favorites. Franz on the East Side. I go there like if I want like a cheap night and I want to just like sing my heart out and, meet some new people over on Dickerson Pike, then I go to Franz. If I want to go have a good time, I want to, if I want to like be around my East Nashville family, then I'm going to go to Lipstick Lounge and sing my heart out there as well. Honestly, both places, it just kind of depends. I have a group of friends that prefer Franz and I have a group of friends that prefer Lipstick, and we go wherever the wind takes us. And there's a sleeper karaoke in East Nashville, which is Sid Gold's. I love Sid Gold's as well because they, it's like a live karaoke. They play the piano for you and you have to it's super fun. So yeah, Franz, Lipstick. I will not Sophie's choice between the two.
Okay, that was the perfect answer because those two are the best in Nashville. So great answer.
Yes.
What's your go-to song?
It depends. What am I feeling that night? I am from a small town in Central Texas. I come from cowboy culture, so I'm probably going to reach for a country song. I have a background in music, so I do have a somewhat suitable singing voice. Not that that matters at karaoke because you come and you warble and you do whatever you want. I tend to go for LeAnn Rimes' Blue. I love that song. It's in my range. I also love Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn. That one always gets a shout out. The old timers love that one. I always go for ABBA as well. So if I'm at Franz, I'm going to go country. All right. Cause it's Franz. If I'm at Lipstick, I'm going to go ABBA because who doesn't love ABBA? We all know the songs. We can all sing along.
Classic. I have to say, I always sing Dina Carter's Strawberry Wine.
Oh, gosh, I love that one. Yes.
All right. For people who have never been to Franz, describe it for them. What makes it so great? What's the vibe? And who are the patrons visiting?
So Fran's used to be near Porter Road, but they relocated to Dickerson Pike last year or the year before. I can't remember when. Fran's looks like it probably was a convenience store or a gas station beforehand. And it's still like it's got like the glass door, like the central glass doors that you walk through. It's covered in posters and stuff. And you walk in, it's got like one bar. There's the stage off to the right when you walk in. There's pool tables. There's just like a collection of tables that like remind me of church fellowship hall. Like it's just kind of feels like folding chairs and just like long tables. I mean, my favorite part about Friends too is above the karaoke stage, they do have the big, beautiful picture of the like white, soft, downy cat. I love that thing. The first time I walked into Fran's, like, because I honestly had just started going a couple years ago, and a friend invited me because I just always went to Lipstick, and a friend invited me to go to Fran's, and I walked in, and when I walked in, I was like, I feel like I'm home. It was mostly just a collection of like people that clearly are there every single day, like, older men, like work shirts, jeans, boots, they were sitting in the corner just having their beers, kind of like looking at us as we walked in. There's a bunch of weirdos from East Nashville walking in. But the woman behind the bar is so sweet. And the first thing she said, because she clocked us as we were walking up, she was like, we only have beer and we only take cash. And I was like, all right, I got it. And I had like prepared, I'd brought like $10 worth of quarters in my pockets. So I was like, I got $10 in quarters. That got me a couple of PBRs, and that was really all I needed. But then like as the night wore on, we get more people in. You got the collection of people that are playing pool. The last time I went, there was a birthday party for a bunch of like Gen Z queer babies coming in and just kind of took over the stage. And the older gentlemen who were there before drinking all of their beers, they would rotate, come up on the stage, sing their songs as well. Yeah, I just felt like I belonged, and I felt like everyone belonged, and I felt like this was a place where like none of the other bullshit mattered. Like it didn't matter what was going on in politics, social media, any of that. It was like I could remember what it was like to just be in a community of people that don't all look like you, don't all act like you, or not even from the same, socioeconomic background, anything like that. And you can all just get together and sing with each other and clap and support each other. I just love karaoke.
What are you looking for in a karaoke bar?
Okay, for me, a karaoke bar should not be fussy. Like we have to respect the cue for, people singing, whatever. But I think it should be understood like, yes, we're in Music City. Yes, we're in Nashville. Yes, people are talented. But I don't think karaoke is a time to go and to like really show off your like singing chops. I think it's a time to like really, just kind of like sing the song that is speaking to your soul at the moment and just like belt it out. And I think like the more off key a karaoke singer is, the more I love it. Like karaoke is just about confidence. And that is what I love about Fran's and Lipstick so much, is that there's no intimidation factor at all. Like, the people singing are regular people. Like everybody is up at the stage. Everybody is clapping for you. Everybody's singing the words along with you. I do think the drinks have to be cheap because everybody's got to get a little drunk in order to like really have a good time. Those are really my only criteria, is that the drinks need to be cheap and the singers need to be normal and not like perfect.
Yes, I do not want to be intimidated. I'll get into my experience at Lonnie's downtown.
No.
It's so intense. People think, and maybe they have been discovered at Lonnie's and been offered record deals right there at the bar. That's how people act at Lonnie's, and it's very intimidating, and I do not sing there because of that. Well, what sparked us having you on the show today is because of your essay that you wrote in Noema magazine. Could you share how the regulars at Fran's inspired you to write that piece?
It's kind of been mulling over in my head for a long time. I work in the libraries. There's a lot of people that you see coming through the libraries. I wrote an essay about riding public transit and how much, enjoyed riding public transit and seeing my community in that way. And there was another karaoke bar that was close to my heart that was back in Texas where I had lived before I came here. It was called Crossroads, and it was very much like Fran's. It was just kind of like a melting pot of everybody. I mean, you had people that lived in the rural areas coming in. You had it was a biker bar. It was also a gay bar. It was a college bar. It was in a college town, but then you had, older retired people from the countryside that were coming in that would sing. And it always felt so magical when I was there. I think I had a quote in the essay from the host who would host at Crossroads, where the first day she hosted, she was like, I feel like somebody's going to die because you've got, this is her words, you got twinky little gays running around. You got these bikers, you got conservatives, you got liberals, you got these college kids, you got these old people. Everybody was like, in this together, but like everybody was cool. Everybody was just there to sing songs and have a good time. That was pre 2016. That was pre a lot of things. And I hadn't really found something quite like that until I went to Fran's. And then it kind of dawned on me as like, it's not just a magical thing that's magic just to a Crossroads. Like this is something that can be recreated anywhere. And then, like I mentioned, I'm a librarian. So I was at the American Library Association conference last year, whenever it was. And there was a talk from Bridget Marquise, who is the director of the Reimagining Civic Commons, and she's quoted in the essay as well. She had talked about reimagining the civic commons is just all about basically creating public spaces that support people having democratic conversations or just rebuilding your community through proximity, through physical space. I think the most important thing that I learned from her, and that is quoted in the essay, is about the three types of spaces. There's havens, which are spaces of protected belonging. So like gay bars, churches, places where everybody is gathered because of their identity and you feel protected knowing that you all share an identity. That's a haven. Then there's hangouts, which are like the grocery store, the bus, public parks, whatever. It's places where people are going to congregate either because they have to or they want to, but they're not necessarily like, they don't have to interact. You can kind of go and do your business and leave, whatever. And that's a hangout. And then there's hubs. Hubs are spaces like the karaoke bar where people are there based on a shared interest. So it has nothing to do with identity. It has nothing to do with background. It has nothing to do with any kind of affiliation. It's just interest. You're interested in singing a song. You like karaoke. And all comers are, invited. Everybody's welcome. It's why sports events are so great. We're there because we're there. We want to support the team. Tailgating, you can just kind of walk around the parking lot and just have a pre-made conversation. It doesn't matter where people are from. It's just, we're here to support this sports team. I know, Marie, that you're not like a huge sports person. I know. I've been listening to the podcast, but this is a +1 for sports as well. Okay. Really, really great +1 for sports is that it is a way to bring communities together. And so once I listened to Bridget Marquise talking about that, I just kind of realized it's just like spaces like karaoke bars, some of the things that we do at the library, spaces where people are brought together by interest are the keys to really maintaining a democratic society. And, and that's not to say that you need only hubs or you need only havens. You need all three mixes of spaces in order to really facilitate that democratic conversation, to really facilitate that society. And to help navigate what I called in the piece social friction being the thing where, you're in a space and you run up against something that you haven't seen before. You run up against something that's different than the way you operate, that you hadn't considered, maybe that you don't even agree with, and you have to navigate through it together. And the thing is we have really been sorted into a lot of havens. Like we on social media, we follow the pages that we want to follow. We only stay within the communities that we identify with. And then in a physical sense, I've got some research in there too about just how sorted we are physically, and the opportunity gap is just widening because the socioeconomic gap is widening. And so if every space around you is a haven, then that means that every space outside of a haven starts to feel like a threat. And so you need the hangouts and you need the hubs to really kind of like literally rub elbows with people so that you can remember how to like function in a society. And in my opinion, karaoke is a fantastic way to do that.
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with like funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.
Just to be clear, when you say democratic society, you're not talking about a political party, right?
No, literally just like consensus among peoples. We live in a society. We have a duty to care for each other. We have a duty to make sure that, we all have what we need. And hubs really encourage that and help people see, the various parts of your community that are out there.
Does Nashville do a good enough job of creating and supporting hangouts and hubs or third spaces?
I feel like East Nashville does support more hangouts and hubs and havens for that matter than possibly other parts of the city. But at the same time, I'm saying that I'm an East Nashville person. So of course I know where all of the havens and hangouts and hubs are over here. If you ask somebody that, it lives in South Nashville or West Side, they'll, they might say the same thing for their areas. But I do get a sense in East, we're lucky to have an abundance of libraries here. We've got a active bus line to Margaret Maddox Y. That is a place where I always feel that I'm walking into a hub as well. Cause, it's just like, I see all of my people there, and we're all working out and doing our own thing. And working out is such a vulnerable act, really. And swimming and doing water aerobics. The Y is a really great example as well.
In your article, you talked about growing up and going to church, but have since stopped attending. But you said that you miss the feeling of church. Circling back to Franz, how does that place give you the feeling of church?
I'm a big family person. My family is very important to me. And right now they're all back in Texas and my husband's family is in Maryland. So we're out here on an island by ourselves. And I'm not a church person. Like I haven't attended since I was in high school. That's not to say that I dislike church. I think everybody, everybody is welcome to worship in the way that they want. Everybody can seek spirituality in the way that they need. It just was not a thing that I kind of kept up as I moved out and into my own life. And when we moved here, I went through a phase where I was like, maybe I do need to find a church. Like maybe I need to find people. Like I said, when I walked into Franz, that was when I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm home. And I've learned that what it was about church, my home church that I love so much. And I feel like this is probably the same for a lot of people, in addition to the fact that you're sharing in this spiritual moment together, that's profound in itself to be in a group of people that are having a spiritually profound moment. But it's the fact that you're also singing, you're singing with your people. You're possibly breaking bread if you're taking communion, you're eating the bread, you're drinking the wine together, you've got rituals. And then after all of that, at least at our church where I grew up, there would be you would congregate out in front of the church for like an hour afterwards and just, talk to everybody. And the kids would go to Sunday school and they'd have their own ritual over there. We would have barbecues. It was a really small rural area. It was like 50 people and everybody knew everybody. So we were at everybody's weddings. We were at everybody's baptisms. We were at everybody's funerals. That was what I really missed. And that is something that is obviously unique to a rural area, but it can be recreated. Honestly, so one place that I feel like it's really recreated, to be perfectly honest, is in my work as a librarian. I'm a children's librarian and I do story time. And I love story time. I love story time so much. And what I love about story time is the fact that like we're all coming in. Everybody knows each other. You know, we have a lot of regulars. So like you come to story time once, you just keep coming week after week. You start to know the other families. All of these families live in your community. You make friends, your kids make friends, then you create your village. And then not only that, we're singing together. We have rituals together. These are the building blocks of, you know, how you really bond a community. Oh my God, it is so cute.
I love it. Well, I love like how multifaceted you are. Librarian during the day, reading to babies in the morning, and then at night you're singing your heart out at Fran's, drinking beers. Very cool person you are. In your essay, you go so far as to say that you think karaoke bars could save democracy. How?
Okay, all of the people who are like, I hate karaoke are like, I disagree. Okay, here's what I mean when I say karaoke bars can save democracy. I don't just mean karaoke bars can save democracy, but I mean that shared feeling of support, the shared ritual of singing together, the vulnerability that is in the room when somebody gets on a stage and takes a mic into their hand to sing whatever song is speaking to them. And that's also what I really love about karaoke is like your identity can really show through when you're singing karaoke based on the song that you choose, how you sing it. You know, like I said, I come from like a rural background, so I'm going to choose a country song that just kind of shows who I am. Oh God, one of my favorite memories at Fran's recently was, like I said, there was a big queer birthday party happening. So there was a lot of Britney, there was a lot of Chappell Roan, you know, there was a lot of that going on and it was fantastic. And then, you know, I was singing country music. We had some like elder millennial dads that got up and sang Teenage Dirtbag. And then like one of the gentlemen that had been there before that was drinking beer, that, you know, older work shirt, all that stuff, got up and he sang I Love This Bar by Toby Keith. And he didn't even have to look at the words. He knew the words. He knew it all by heart. He sang with his eyes closed. It was so wonderful. And I think about like, if I were to approach disparate people on the street and just kind of ask them like, you know, about politics or whatever, get into those meaty conversation, it's like immediately the wall is up and it's hard to continue that conversation. But when you start with something that breaks a vulnerability, that brings in vulnerability, that breaks it down that way, now we have something in common. Now you have revealed something to me, like I've seen like an inner part of your heart. Now it's a little easier to maybe have conversations because you know that we can trust each other a little bit. You trusted me to watch you sing this song and I trusted you to watch me sing a song. And we have been vulnerable together in this space. And that's how you facilitate the critical conversations that we need to be having right now.
I'm glad you brought up vulnerability because I'm sure there are people listening right now saying, no way, I'm never going to do karaoke. I'll find my community elsewhere. Give them the hard sell on why they should give karaoke a shot.
Oh my God. I have never worked for anything that's not a nonprofit, so I'm terrible at selling things to people. I can't do it because my initial answer is like, if karaoke is not for you, then that's okay. Like find the interest that is for you, but be brave enough to be vulnerable in it. But okay, if we're going to sell people on karaoke, you know, I would say like, look, everybody is welcome. Everybody basically is going in there, like doing their own thing. You're not required to sing. If you don't feel comfortable, you know, singing in front of people, like if anything, it's a great anthropological, experience where you could just go and be like, interesting song choice. You know, I wonder why that song choice, or, you know, just watching people perform. Like some people are just going to stand up there and be real shy and just stand in one place and not move a lot and just sing the words. Other people are just going to pull out all the stops. They're going to, you know, this is their moment to be Taylor Swift on the stage. This is their moment to like, you know, whip their hair around. And I mean, if you like people watching, then karaoke is a great place to people watch. You don't have to go on stage and sing by yourself, but I highly recommend singing along with everybody as the karaoke is going on, because the words are up on the screen, so you already know the words. Like I said, it's when you go to church, if you're a church person, you're praying with people, that's a profoundly spiritual experience. And I would attest that singing with a group of people in a bar that you don't know, the entire bar building singing along with one person, that is also a profoundly spiritual experience. And both are valid. And however you can find that, it's less about thinking about the hard, meaty conversations of how to save society and democracy, and more of just about the fact that there's a physical aspect of our lives, there's an emotional aspect of our lives, but there is a spiritual aspect to our lives, regardless of how you find that spirituality. And things like karaoke, things like library story times, things that really bring people together in a ritualized manner where they have to do something together, where they have to be vulnerable, where they have to show up for their community, that feeds our spiritual lives. And that is what we're going to need in order to survive the roller coaster we are on.
Amen to that. And I just have to say, this conversation has really reminded me of the fact that we at CityCast Nashville pride ourselves on creating this type of special community, this magic that we're trying to capture. And where else to do it but at these karaoke rooms across our city with our CityCast Nashville neighbors. That is our exclusive membership program. It's $10 a month. It gets you all kinds of perks, but my favorite one being opportunities to hang out with us, the CityCast team, and as well as all the other members who have joined. We all live across Nashville in all different kinds of neighborhoods, and I am going to say this now. I think next year we're going to plan a karaoke crawl for us all to do together. So go ahead, join CityCast Nashville Neighbors, and let's all get together and sing our hearts out. All right. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. Again, we loved your essay. We're going to put that in our show notes for people to read. And then, hey, folks at home, let's go karaoke together.
Yes!
Sounds like a blast.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So great having you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marie.
And hey, don't go anywhere. In just a second, we've got a segment sponsored by United Way of Greater Nashville. Executive producer Whitney Pasterek is chatting with Chief Development Officer Courtney Barler about the great work United Way does in our community.
Hey, y'all, it's CityCast Nashville executive producer Whitney Pasterek here with Courtney Barler, the Chief Development Officer of United Way. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Whitney. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so glad you're here because the United Way of Greater Nashville is involved in so many parts of our community, from early childhood education to health services. When people give at the end of the year or through a workplace campaign, where does that support actually show up in our neighborhoods?
When people give to United Way, whether it's through a workplace giving campaign, end of year, or at any time, we take those gifts, and our goal is always to make sure that every child, every family, every individual in our community is thriving. And what that looks like is we take those gifts and we put them in two different places. One is we fund incredible nonprofits in the Middle Tennessee area. Right now, we fund 184, and these are nonprofits that are just doing amazing work in specific areas of education, financial stability, health, and basic needs. They're really lifting people up. So we take those funds and we distribute them out to those nonprofit partners. But we also have programs that we run at United Way, and that's everything from free one-on-one financial counseling to a pre-K preparedness program to a free tax program. All of these we see as building blocks to helping people thrive, to making sure that families and individuals have what they need to thrive in our community. And that's the ultimate goal of our work.
You know, we've been hearing a lot more about ALICE lately. These are families who are asset limited, income constrained, employed. Can you explain what that means in real terms here in Middle Tennessee and why that's such a focus for y'all?
These are families and individuals who are above the federal poverty line, but are not able to make ends meet in our community. So to kind of put it in context, across the state of Tennessee, about 13% of our population is considered below the federal poverty line. And then when you look across Tennessee with that lens, there's an additional 30% of our population that we would consider to be ALICE, which is pretty shocking. Almost half the state of Tennessee that are working, they are are doing their very best, but they still have barriers to really thrive and really move forward in life. So we think that that is a key population that we need to be serving with all of these different building blocks to make sure that we can help them thrive.
That's amazing. Well, a lot of workplaces around Nashville, we know, are participating in United Way campaigns. But if you're at home listening and your company doesn't already do this, you might be thinking, hey, we could. What does starting a workplace campaign actually look like?
We are so lucky. As you mentioned, we work with almost 200 workplace partners already. And what I love about this is that they all look different. It really fits each individual workplace, and they can be tailored up and down in any way that fits best for the culture of that employer. So we have a whole team that this is what they do all the time, is they work with different workplaces to figure out what is going to motivate your employees, what's going to make them feel good about giving back collectively, and how do we put all these parts and pieces into place to make it really, really easy for you, for people to give back, and for these employers to feel like they're making a really big impact. So it really varies based on the company, which is great because I think it really reflects the culture and personality of those companies.
Well, listen, Courtney, you've been with United Way for 14 years. That's a long time to see this region grow and change, and Lord knows we have. What keeps you inspired to do this work, and what makes United Way of Greater Nashville special to you?
I am constantly inspired by the work that is happening kind of boots on the ground with those nonprofit partners, with the people who are working directly with the clients that we serve. I think especially for me, my gift was not to be a social worker or to work in that space, but I'm able to contribute in other ways. And I see the incredible difference that they're making in people's lives. And sometimes it's just little baby steps that people are making. A mom that goes back to get a certification so that she can get a higher paying job, or a family that gets their child into a high quality childcare center and they know that their child's going to be ready for kindergarten in a couple of years. And you can feel the needle kind of pulling and changing the trajectory of people's lives. And it's really just an honor to be a part of that work and just a small piece of all of the efforts that make that all happen for our community.
Thank you so much for everything you and your colleagues do for us. Y'all at home, check out UnitedWayGreaterNashville.org to learn more. We will also have that link for you in our show notes, so you'll be just a click away. Thanks for listening. Courtney, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Doodles!